In this video, I want to go ahead and we're going to end up moving some of the code around. So we're going to move this over to the building class. And I want to make a function that will take in a hit result and return us the closest socket, I guess, the closest socket on the hit instance that our line trace or the impact point of our trace hits. So for example, if we go ahead and place down, oops, even going to let me hit play. There we go. So for example, if I hit my line trace right here in this corner, I want it to return whatever socket that hit right there. So we're going to basically be getting the socket location, or better yet, we're going to be getting the transform instead. So to begin, let's go ahead and I guess try to make a function for it. So this one's going to be a public function as well. It's going to return an F transform. And we want to go ahead and let's see. Let's call it get hit socket transform. And it's going to take in a hit result. So const F hit result. We're passing it by reference. So call it hit result. And then we want to pass in the distance from the hit that is valid. So we're going to do float valid hit distance. And I'm going to give that a default value of, let's say, 100. So 100 centimeters is going to be the default. Okay, let's create the definition for that. And the first thing that we need to do here is we need to get the hit index. So what we're gonna do is, well, literally like I just said, we're gonna go ahead and get the hit index. So in 32, hit index equals get hit index, and we're gonna pass in the hit result. And if hit index equals -1, or sorry, does not equal -1, then we do all our fun stuff. Otherwise, we return a empty transform. So return F transform. So in here, we want to iterate through the sockets. So we want to get the correct instance. Well, in our case, we're going to be doing just the foundation. So we want to go ahead and get the foundation instance mesh. We want to try to get the socket. So get socket transform. However, we don't necessarily have the socket names. So thankfully, there's actually a function provided for us that does that. So it's going to be a TRA of F name. Let's call it socket names. And that's going to be the foundation instance mesh, get all socket names. And now we can iterate through these. So we're going to do a for loop. So for, it's going to be F or const F name by reference, socket name, and socket names. So let's go ahead and move on and move our code up here like so. And basically we have the impact point of the hit result. We also will have the impact point, well, not the impact point, but the socket location here as well. And then we can get our distance and compare it to the valid hit distance. So we want to basically get the first one that hits the valid hit distance. We could also instead iterate through all of them and do it that way as well and just get the closest one, which actually that's not a bad idea, but they should be spaced out farther or far enough apart anyways to where that shouldn't really matter. So we're going to go ahead and get the socket transform. So we're going to pass in socket name. And what was the other one? And it's already in the world space, so that's fine. Okay, so we're going to store this in transform. So F transform. Let's call it socket transform. And now we want to do a distance check. So if, let's do F vector, : distance, socket transform dot location, or dot get location. And then the second parameter is going to be the hit result dot location. And then that's also, we want to do a check. So if that distance is less than or equal to the valid hit distance, we want to return socket transform. And here I also want to print out a log. So uv log temp, warning, text, valid hit on socket %s, dereference socket name. like so. Okay, can't do that to a f name. We got to convert it to a string. So let's see, what is it? F string from, no, f name. Okay, so there's a toString. So socket name dot toString, like so. So this should hopefully give us the distance, well, to it. So now we just want to call get hit socket transform instead. So get hit socket, or sorry, hit building, get hit socket transform, pass in the hit result. And I'm going to leave it as the default for the second parameter and comment out my log. Let's go ahead and close it down and give it a try. Alrighty, hit play, bring up our log, place it down. And if we hit position 0, position 3 is what we're closest to. Not hitting anything and not hitting anything. So my guess is it's still not detecting those hits for whatever reason. But now it's hitting position 1. And now we are not hitting position 2. Does this, no, that does not have collision. Let me double check and make sure the collision is completely off for our visual building class. So go down to collision. Yeah, we have no collision, so that wouldn't be why. And we should have, yeah, we have all of our sockets right there. Let's look at the collision mesh. Let's see, how do you view collision? I feel like I'm being dumb. Show, there it is. Show simple collision. Okay, yeah, I have my box. It's going around all 4 corners. Should have no problem there. Okay, we already know we are hitting the actor. So let's just go ahead and print out hit building actor, and it should flicker between the two constantly. And I'm going to as well print out a log, only if it's a blocking hit, of set build position. So the only reason I'm doing this is just to 100% confirm that even when we're hitting the actor, it is recognizing it. Because that's what I'm starting to think might be happening, but at the same time, I kind of doubt it. So like right now, we're calling set build position. And here we are flickering between all of them. We go between 0 and 3 just fine. We can go to 1. But for some reason, we are hitting the actor. However, we cannot seem to hit or get this other socket right here. It's just returning -1 for us. So let's double check what we are calling. So valid hit on socket, we call get hit index. This is returning -1. Okay. So regardless, we should be getting the hit. Oh, yeah. I guess it's just a continuation on that problem from the previous video. However, I'm going to go ahead and actually spawn this down and just see if I can get it to hit. Let's see, what would that be? That would be number 4. So we're hitting position 1, 2, or 1, 0, and 3. However, we cannot seem to hit 2. That is really odd. Even when we go back and close to this, position 0. So I'm assuming there's just some random problem that we're having there. I'm not too concerned about it at the moment. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is, well, we're just going to figure out kind of a way to place it, or better yet, snap our object to it. Because I want to make it so when I get up and get close to it like this right now, I want it to be free placing. Nothing happens when I do anything. Then when I get here, and you see it's printing out the log for position 0, I want this mesh to snap to that transform. So that should be relatively easy to do. So that's what we're going to do in the next video. And I guess I'll just have to kind of tinker around and see what's causing that problem there with the not being able to hit certain sockets, or it's returning -1 on well, which instance it is hitting, because it should really be hitting 0. Anyways, that is going to be all for this video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have a Team Deathmatch series just for Patrons, as well as you get early access to nearly all of my videos. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to join my Discord that's also linked down below, and I'll try to help you out. So, I'll see you in the next one.